In a recent lesson, we had a golfer who was complaining about losing his posture in the golf swing. The key though, is once you understand that you need to lose your posture in the swing, you're gonna actually start hitting it better. So let's dive into what we mean by one, keeping posture, and what golfers do, we see on the lesson tee every week, what they do trying to keep posture versus needing to lose posture.
Yeah, I think the major confusion lies with just the classic kind of keeping your rear end on the wall at all costs.
It's kind of a solution for early extension, but which we know early extension, you have to have extension. That's early thrusting we're trying to get rid of.
Yeah, it's all in how you look at it and how you perceive what you need to be doing with your body to either A, do it correctly or fix what you've already been doing. So, you know, if you draw the line against somebody's rear end here down to the ground, it's that thrusting this way that everybody's trying to fix. And the way they go about trying to fix it is where we think the problem lies. Because they're trying to throw all of that away at all costs to stay in this kind of contorted, bent over look, which is not what's reality when we look at high level swings, especially when we start moving the camera around, which is what's so valuable about 3D.
Right, it's been a long time since I've gotten on Instagram or YouTube throughout the day and not seen a swing tip of get your chest down to the ground through impact. It's not what the best players in the world are doing. And that's physically, getting your chest down is physically more difficult to do because again, we're trying to rotate and have speed in the swing. That's a big hindrance to that. So instead, what should be happening?
Yeah, so through the hit, the body is extending, right? But you have to do it in a way that creates, you figured this out, looking at videos, like Mike will just randomly call me one afternoon and be like, hey, I got something figured out, or I'll call him. I think I figured something out.
That's what you do when you don't have a life outside of what we do.
This is all we do. I think I figured something out. And so he calls me, I think I figured something out. So I'm like, well, what is it? He's like, well, I'm looking at these players, and if you look at them from a certain angle here at the 45, it's almost like their entire backside here is pretty flat. And the only way you can do that is if you're extending the body, almost not early, you are extending the body, but keeping the tilt to the body in a way that shows up as this flat part of my back down through my rear end here. And then, oh, by the way, you start looking at high level players from this view. That's what you're seeing. You're not seeing the contorted look of them keeping their hips back, because you would have a totally different look to the body.
To illustrate what Shaun was just describing, we're looking at one of our pros here who's in his normal standing posture. What we want you to notice is the relationship between the center of his pelvis and the center of his rib cage as he's standing here. Now, the first thing you might be thinking is this doesn't really look like the center of his chest, and you'd kind of be right. That dot is not in the center of the avatar's chest, but there's no 3D avatar that accounts for the player's individual body dimensions. To show those, we can turn on the actual markers that go on the player's body. When we do that, now you can see the player's physical size and dimensions and how that dot really is the center of the player's chest. And this is just a reminder to let you know that the avatar is just a visual to show you where the player is during his swing. It's not what produces the data. As we zoom in, you can see these small little lines. These are his X, Y, and Z coordinates of his pelvis. The blue line shows us the tilt of his pelvis relative to the ground. You can see in his standing posture that his pelvis is slightly angled upward past horizontal to the ground, meaning he's in slight posterior tilt, roughly 1.5 degrees worth. Using the pelvis as our reference, you can see that the center of his chest or rib cage is 4 degrees behind the center of his pelvis. This is the relationship, the posture that we're talking about in this video. Now, as we look at this multiple major champion here at Address, we need to orient the camera so we're looking at him dead perpendicular to his pelvis. To do that, we need to look straight down this little red line. This lets us keep the same frame of reference, which is perpendicular to the front of his pelvis the entire time. Here at Address, his pelvis is tilted forward or anteriorly tilted 16 degrees, with his chest 13 degrees forward of his pelvis, which should all make sense because he's bent forward in a normal looking address position. Now, as we look at him at the start of his delivery, this is when the shaft is parallel to the ground in the downswing. We can see that he's extended his pelvis from 16 degrees of anterior tilt to just 1 degree. So he's pretty much already at his standing posture with his pelvis. But his chest is now just 2 degrees less forward bent compared to where it was at Address. Then as we position him here at impact, his pelvis continues extending to now be in 5 degrees of posterior tilt. That's a 21-degree loss of pelvic tilt posture. And his chest now just 6 degrees forward of his pelvis, more than half of where it started. This is what we mean when we say by needing to lose your posture. There is a direct correlation in the data between posture loss and rotation, meaning the players who lose the most turn the most, and the players who keep the most posture turn the least. And to show that doing this does not mean humping or thrusting forward towards the ball, here he is at impact showing the left side of his pelvis still back through his butt line. And this has all been with a 7-iron. Here he is with his driver, so you can see the loss of posture gets more pronounced as the club gets longer. And what we're talking about specifically is roughly the delivery phase. Last shaft parallel to impact. The body, the upper body especially, is extending, but you may be seeing someone demonstrate where like you go into this kind of movement here, or it's not that. Okay, so I'm in standing posture. Right, center of my chest is somewhere over the center of my pelvis. Okay, from this, do it from this way. This camera here, center, like I'm in alignment here as much as I physically can be. You're just getting back to that at impact, meaning this would be a kind of an address posture, very similar, a little bit less at shaft parallel. Then I'm just going back to here. I'm not trying to get back to here by impact. That would be going into extension, but I am extending from here just to get, like I've extended my body just to get back in a talking posture. That's what we're talking about doing. If you can do that, and we're going to show you how to do it in this video, you are really starting to do now pro level moves, and that's so much easier to do physically.
Yeah, and not only is it easier to do, it's like more natural on your body, and you pick up more club hits because that the act of kind of doing that curves the handle around, allows you to push the ground with your lead side and more effectively, and you start getting the release that we're always trying to get players to have, where the club goes around and the hands go around with it, instead of maybe the hands work in one direction, the club going another way.
If you've seen any of our videos recently, we've talked a lot about the hands stay on the trail side at impact. This is a big component of how that happens and still hit the ball like you see every week on tour. So we're going to change the cameras around a little bit. We're going to put Shaun in the Swing Coach app and have him hit some balls. And we're going to show you a key to make sure this happens in your swing. Feel super tall over here. Okay, ready?
Yeah, look how small.
One of the ways you can see if you're doing this already in your golf swing, and you know, with anything we talk about in our videos or anyone talks about, you want to find out if you're doing it or not. And this is a really easy way to do this. You're going to need to recruit the help of someone. So we're going to have Shaun set up, hitting it into the screen. I'm going to basically position myself here at a 45, make sure I'm out of the way of his swinging club, because that would be disastrous. And I'm going to hold the camera up. So just pose impact for me. Right, okay, and you'll see it as we show the video right here. And he's just going to go back and hit just a little slow speed shot. See if he's actually doing it. Hold on 1 second.
Sorry, buddy.
Bogey from the camera operator.
Sorry, man.
I'm trying to get this camera up as high as I can get it. Okay, just do that again.
Ready?
Yep. All right, so what you're going to see on the screen is Shaun doing a really good, and this is an easy way to see this, doing a really good of getting his butt and his back flat. Okay, we don't want a big curve like that. We don't want it into extension. We just want to get that flat. You can see it there. Next, we're going to use the Swing Coach app to train this. And if you've got an iPhone, soon to be available on Android, get the 2-week free trial. You're going to be amazed at how good this app is helping you practice your swing. Now, a lot of golfers will see themselves swing and see their head pop up and think, oh, that's a bad deal. I've got to keep my chest down. The reality is the chest and hips got to get in alignment, but you're going to have side bend and then you're going to have some bend from the neck.
Right.
Okay, so if you do both of those and have side bend and have your head down, you're going to be in the right zone. So Shaun's going to think and make sure his extension is working correctly, and then we're going to monitor his head movement here with the help of the Swing Coach. So let me get this set up, Shaun.
Yep.
Just going to hit a little cruisy one. Just working on that right extension. All right. When you're ready.
Head at impact, up by 6.
What did you feel there?
Probably too much of this action. Like I didn't have my myself side bent enough when I did get the flat back.
Head up by 6.
Yeah, I felt it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you've got to offset that
Yeah.
as that's happening. Because again, the swing is a 3-dimensional movement.
I need the flat back, but still keep my wings of my airplane tilted here.
Exactly right. Now this happens with everyone, right? You focus on one movement and you may lose it in the other one. So that's why this app is such a good tool for feedback. All right, let's do that again.
Okay.
So you're still going to work on the back and you're going to make sure the side bend's there. How we do
Good
there?
swing.
I felt different, like I was way more in my angles this way.
Okay.
As I got the flat back.
Is that normal for you?
No, I got to work on that.
Okay, so you were in the zone there. And
Okay.
again, this is why the app is so
so good.
beneficial. It's why practicing with feedback is so beneficial. If you have an Android, use your camera. Put a line over it. Do it old school. If you have an iPhone, use the Swing Coach app.
And
Both
it's
are going
coming
to help
soon
you.
for Android.
That's exactly right. They're working on it now. Both are going to help you dial this impact in, but you can't rely on your feels when you're doing this because your feels are going to be all over the place. This trains your feels. You have to earn your feels.
And I chunked that ball. So I'm not going to bail on this.
Right.
You know, if I'm on the range by myself, left to my own devices, I might bail on that swing thought.
Yeah, like I did something wrong.
And then that's what most people will do. They'll bail on it if they hit a bad one. That's why we do a lot of foam balls in here. I'm not super worried at first how I'm hitting it.
Right.
My release is going to have to adjust for the fact that my body's in a different space here. And
Do that again. So from this
Yeah.
camera, you'll be able to see. Go back to that impact.
Yeah.
So he's got the flat back, right? Doesn't have to be arched, just flat, and his head staying down, so he's in the right amount of tilts and turns, which is what every great player does so much better than the rest of us. And this is going to help you train that and put that into your swing.